Because this is the first media day, it's notoriously busy. I've actually got here super early, Mark's got here super early. It's only just turned 9 AM and already it's very full. We've got a long list in my fetching shopping bag here. That's all the cars being launched today. It's a lot. And you know what? A huge proportion, thankfully for us, are plug-ins, including that one, the Microlino. 6.6 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometer range, top speed of 90 kilometers an hour, which is less than 60, probably for the best. But like the original Isetta, there's only one door to get in and out, and it's the front of the car. It hinges out like that. It's just like a bench seat, 2 people. I like simple cars like this. It's got narrow track 4 wheels, which the original Isetta was available as a 4 and a 3 wheel. It's great, isn't it? So back in the 1950s, the bubble car era boomed, and this was before the Mini was invented. People who wanted to get out of motorcycles and have a proper car with a roof. And of course there was an oil crisis, so fuel was really expensive. They used motorcycle engines and they built lots of these sorts of cars. The BMW Isetta, which this is sort of modelled on, really helped to save the BMW company, really. And this is such a good homage. It's not a sort of rip-off of it. It's a really kind of tasteful 21st century version, and being EV suits it perfectly because the original ones had smoky, horrible, mostly 2-stroke engines. And look, this is the only door. This is the whole dash on a gas strut, like a tailgate. There's a handle and you just pull it. Oh, hang on, need to pull it harder. There you go, look. And it doesn't matter really that it's not right-hand drive because the car's only about 4 feet wide anyway. Man, this is going to be so good in a city. It's actually quite spacious, you know. I love weird projects like this. Imagine this in Rome, or London, or Taunton. It's really comfortable in here, I have to say. You need to come in. You need to sit in it. If you think a Mini is a small car, shut you in. Besides the sort of powerhouses that are displaying at Geneva, the big car companies, you have a lot of little cottage industries, and a lot of them are like this, small car companies that build exciting, weirdy-beardy things, and this is called an E-Rod off-road. What this is exactly as you'd imagine it to be. It's a completely off-road buggy that's electric, so proper jumping suspension, Fox reserve shock suspension, beefed up wishbones, 650 kilos in weight, I've been told. The battery's 19.2 kilowatt hours, 130 kilometer range on one charge, top speed of 90 kilometers an hour, so under 60 miles an hour top speed. But this is all about off-road. You can see it's all really durable, washable because it's got no roof. This is all about playing on sand and mud. So we're seeing a lot more electric motocross bikes, electric trials bikes. So for recreational purposes, it could be bang on. This is currently a concept, they've told us. They're gauging the interest of this car at the show. They already make the fun. I'll go and have a look at the fun now. Slightly randomly, there's a slot car racing table, and under that is the E-Rod Fun. So this came out a couple of years ago, and this is, like I say, it's a road car. It's a car you can actually buy in kit form and assemble it yourself, which I like the idea of. And if the off-road vehicle goes into production, which I think it will, you'll also be able to assemble it yourself if you wish. But this car's a slightly higher performance than the off-road. It's 183 kilometers range, 120 kph top speed. Again, it's slightly lighter, 600 kilos, so really light. 19.2 kilowatt hour battery pack, 45 kilowatt power. It's, as you can see, it's kind of like Switzerland's answer to the Ariel Atom, I guess, but zero emission. I don't know why it's under a table. I've never seen a car under a table at a motor show before. You can see this 1969 Sigma race car, which was completely electric, as you can see from the pipes and the tubes. This is one of the cars that's getting the most attention at Geneva. It's the production finished Jaguar I-Pace all-electric SUV. I actually drove one of these 36 hours ago out in the wild, and you'll see that in a separate fully charged video. You already know that Jaguar are competing in the Formula E single-seater championship, but the other thing they're launching for 2018 is this, which sort of interests me a bit more. This is the Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy, so this is a one-make, almost identical car race series. Head-to-head, 20 cars on the track as a support race. This is the first time I've actually got to look around one of them. So you've got an I-Pace, which is almost the same as a production car. They've torn out all of the luxury inside like you would expect and replaced it with a roll cage, so in theory it should be slightly lighter. Apparently the battery pack is the same, but the software can be tweaked for race modes and more aggressive regen, and also some of the body panels have been replaced with composites, probably something like the bonnet, which looks like carbon fibre there. You can buy one of these if as a privateer. You can spec it how you like. There are certain tweaks you'll be able to make to the suspension and stuff like that, but largely it'll be a really, really aggressive, competitive championship, kind of like electric touring car racing, really. Of course, touring cars, if you've ever watched touring cars, they tend to rub panels a little bit, and that's what I like about it. It tends to be a little bit more contact friendly than Formula One. Interesting times, right, for electric motor racing. We're on the Mitsubishi stand. We've just had the unveiling of the Outlander PHEV. Now, Mitsubishi were early to the game with this. They reminded us it's been 5 years since the first car came out, and this is the new version. And they've said they're only going to make more plug-in hybrids and more full EVs. They know that's the future, and that's the vibe of this whole show. In fact, electric SUVs is definitely the flavour of Geneva this year. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't excite me one bit, but it's a very important car for sales. It's restored the fortunes of Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi Motors in the UK, especially, were on their knees. They had hardly anything to sell. They've sold globally 1.1 million cars in the last financial year. They reckon they're going to sell 1.3 million in the next financial year. So things are very good, and they're clearly going to be investing more and more in this sort of thing. And if you come over here, look, this is more interesting than that. That's the Outlander PHEV's guts. So you've got your 2.4 litre engine here, your front electric motor here. Of course, it's four-wheel drive. It's an off-roader. It's high up. Like most of the cars, you've got your battery pack low down under the floor pan or in the floor pan. There's your fuel tank, your onboard charging unit and your controller, and then your rear propulsion motor. What I would like though is I'd like Mitsubishi to kind of use a bit of this and build some more interesting cars, more interesting body shells for cars. Toyota hybrid. Nom nom nom. This is the Otto Nam cab. What this is something we're seeing a lot of at Geneva here. We're seeing a lot of SUVs that are electric. We're also seeing concepts of completely driverless vehicles like this that you don't actually own. You just hail, use and dismiss at will. The Otto Nam, love the name, this has in total 4 radars, 6 cameras, 10 LiDAR systems. So this can travel around an urban environment at about sort of 60 kilometers an hour, something like that, with a maximum speed of 90 kilometers an hour. It's like a minibus that nobody owns, and it just travels around using all of its intelligence systems. Love the front end though. Let's go in to the Otto Nam. This is weird because that's the front, but yet there is no front. There's no dashes and a steering wheel. There's a row of seats, the same as this, just mirrored back. And this really is a different way of thinking about the car. It's a mobility pod that nobody really owns. You hail it, you use it, you choose to share it or not share it, like an Uber, I guess, and then you go and do your thing. And there's adverts playing in here, just like an underground or a bus or, I guess, like a black taxi. Otto Nam. Nom nom nom. It looks the same because it kind of is the same, apart from one thing. The model year 18 Zoe now has an increased horsepower motor. It's called an R110, meaning it's about the equivalent of 110 horsepower. You'll get extra acceleration between about 50 and 70 miles an hour. It's 2 seconds quicker between those speeds, 50 to 70. But the range is unaffected, which is 250 miles NEDC, but Renault have said in the real world that equates to 186 miles. I like the Zoe. I think it's a decent car. I see a lot of them. It's quietly doing very well, the Zoe. I think it looks better than the Leaf. You know, I've actually got a confession to make. And I'm quite apologetic, is I've never driven Twizy. I don't know why. I just was too busy when it was originally launched, and I've never got around to driving one, so I have to drive one. I've got a few ideas for me and Robert, a bit of a sort of bromance road trip. All right, Robert, just so you know. I think it's such a good idea, and I love it when Renault and other French companies are at their maximum creative levels, because this would have been a concept for someone like Toyota, and then they would have never built it. Renault have built it, it's been on sale for years. You can pick these up second hand now for like £4,000, and I would really like one. Okay, they can only be charged on a 3-pin, but what a piece of design. It's not even a car, it's a quadricycle. Any car where the doors are considered optional, I'm interested. It's one man's play of wheelbase, the Twizy. I think we forget how radical this thing is. Just have a look around it. We're on the Rinspeed stand at Geneva Motor Show, and I've been coming to this show for, I don't know, 17 years or something like that, and every time I come here, your stand, it has the most wild, creative subjects. And Frank, thank you for inviting me on the stand.
Well, first of all, only 17 years, Johnny. It is like a rookie.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
It might be 18.
Okay, well, still, but below 25, you know, you're still, you know, getting into.
How many years have you been coming in?
40.
40?
See, this year, so.
My goodness.
See, the idea behind the Snap is that we feel to try to build a car which can do everything is impossible, like to serve too many masters.
Yeah.
So we said, let's put everything valuable and everything intelligent in the skateboard, in the chassis, which is separate.
Yeah.
And put just some less intelligent parts on top, which are convenience and comfort orientated.
Yeah.
And the pod can be virtually anything, from passenger to parcels, to a sauna, to a beer pod, to whatever you want.
Yeah.
So on the weekend you'd like to have a private sauna, skateboard brings you the sauna pod, leaves it for 2 or 3 hours, takes it off again.
Private sauna, brilliant.
You'll come into a completely new ecosystem. And I can show you the way we can lift it.
Okay, so it's hydraulic? Or?
It's hydraulic.
Yeah, so it's on rams.
This way we just lift it, the skateboard drives underneath, and it lowers it again, and here we go.
And that is fully autonomous?
That's level 5 autonomous.
So no driver, it uses GPS?
And nothing at all.
Okay, and how long does it take to remove one of these? And
30 seconds maybe.
Oh really, that quick?
Yeah.
We're getting into one of these pods, you call them pods?
Yes.
I suppose they are pods. And the idea is these are kind of blank canvases. You can fill these with whatever you like. This could be a sauna, like you said. This could be a laboratory. This could be something.
Dentist, whatever you have.
Dentist. And the idea is that when you invest in this kind of a system, you only need one of those. You could have 10 of these.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is, you know, everybody's property.
Yeah.
And you need to amortize it very quickly, so it's running around day and night.
Yeah. This all comes out, and this is so futuristic.
You could buy one, you could own one, or you just share it, depending on your needs and your budgets and your space availability to park it, of course.
Presumably this the skateboard is mostly for an urban kind of speed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we've seen actually in the Geneva this year quite a few ideas around autonomy and last mile delivery services. So this could be something where packages get delivered and dropped off.
Same here, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I could see this working. These get dropped off outside in town centres and shopping areas, and you collect your parcels, and at the end of the day it's empty and it gets taken away.
Exactly.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, John.
Keep your creativity up, because
I'll give it a hard try.
You need to look at some of Rinspeed's back catalogue. It's pretty impressive.
Do that. Have fun.
That's electric. That is probably the best sized SUV for a congested city. Obviously one seater, quite lonely, quite selfish. on the Porsche stand for the reveal of this. This is the world premiere of the Mission E Cross Turismo concept. Now what's interesting about this is it's actually much closer to production, I think, than a concept. You've got aspects of the existing Panamera Sport Turismo, which is the sort of Panamera Sporty estate at the back there. Then at the front, you've got that Mission E face. Remember, Mission E is Porsche's name for their all-EV range, which comes out sort of 2019, 2020. You can expect to see this, or something very close to this, going on sale in 2021. It uses the 800-volt charging system that Porsche have already talked about, which means you can do a 0 to 80% charge in 15 minutes. But I think it looks really handsome. It's got that kind of Audi all-road chunkiness about it, without it being too high and mighty. I think Porsche have sort of found their groove. I'm not allowed to touch it, unfortunately. I'm not allowed any closer than this. They've let me on the stage, and if you look, there's a lot of people trying to get attention. We're seeing a lot of this now, sort of a light panel which is active and can change and can be customizable. But in there, you'll suddenly see some sort of electrical waves going through it in blue. And have you noticed the aero, the body kit, the side skirts on this, they stand off the bodywork. They're not actually, they're sort of floating, they're semi-floating. That's an interesting design touch. And there's some, active air ducting going on. 590 brake horsepower, ladies and gents. Yeah, so 2 motors, 4-wheel drive, 0 to 62 in 3.5 seconds, just under 600 brake horsepower. It's a Porsche, it's got to be performance, they're a performance brand. So let's just hope Mission E actually delivers that huge amount of power with playfulness and luxury. I want to see a 911, a completely electric 911, with all the power to the back wheels. I think it's going to be blimmin' brilliant. These are exciting times for Porsche, It's top 3 car of the show for me. Hours and hours of intense lighting and loud audio and media scrum. We have done the Geneva Motor Show, and it's been amazing, although my eyes are stinging. What have we learned? Well, we've learned an awful lot of plug-in stuff is here. Almost the most interesting stuff is plug-in. And all the big media players, they're building plug-in stuff. A lot of good things are coming. So it's been good. It's been well worth it. And this is personally my favourite motor show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as me. Thanks for watching Fully Charged.